You know, for years, AI has been this master of finding patterns, right? It's gotten incredibly good at predicting what you'll watch, what you'll buy, or what you'll click on next. But it's always had this massive blind spot. It could tell you what happens, but it could never really tell you why. Well, that's all starting to change. Thanks to a wave of incredible breakthroughs, AI is finally moving beyond just seeing correlations. It's starting to understand the fundamental rules of cause and effect. It's basically learning to read the source code of reality itself.
Okay, so here's the game plan for how we're going to break all this down. First, we'll dive into the classic problem that has stumped AI for literally decades. Then, we're going to look at a kind of accidental breakthrough from the very models that power tools like ChatGPT. From there, we'll see how that's being used to build what you might call an AI co-scientist, check out some real-world revolutions it's already causing, and then, the best part, we'll see how you can start using this new causal superpower for yourself. All right, let's kick things off with the big one. The fundamental challenge, the thing that has really kept AI from a true, deep understanding of the world, is this puzzle of cause and effect. So let me pose a question to frame this. Think about a simple business puzzle. An AI can sift through 1 million data points and predict with scary accuracy that, hey, customers who buy product A also tend to buy product B. But it can't tell you if that brilliant new ad campaign you launched is what actually caused that recent spike in sales, or if it was just a total coincidence. That gap, right there, that's the huge difference between prediction and real intelligence.
And this right here is the absolute heart of the matter. We have to break down this difference. Correlation is just seeing that two things move together. The classic example, which you've probably heard, is ice cream sales and shark attacks. They're totally correlated, but one doesn't cause the other. The real cause, the hidden variable, is the summer heat. It gets hot, so more people buy ice cream, and more people go swimming, which leads to more shark encounters. Causation is about identifying that hidden thing, the sun, the actual mechanism. For decades, AI has just been stuck pointing at the ice cream and the sharks, completely unable to see the sun.
So how in the world do we solve this? Well, get this. The breakthrough is coming from a place nobody expected. The large language models that have basically taken over the world. Yeah, you heard me right. It turns out that in the very simple act of training these models to just predict the next word in a sentence, we've accidentally stumbled upon a way to turn them into causal detectives.
And look, the difference between the old way of doing things and this new approach, it's not even close. The classical methods were slow, they were brittle, they just fell apart when you threw complex, messy, real-world problems at them. But this new, transformer-based method is a whole different beast. It's scalable, it's flexible, and it learns directly from the data. This isn't just a small step forward, it's a completely new ballgame.
All right, I know this looks super complicated, but hang with me, because the idea behind it is actually beautiful. Think of it like this. Imagine you're trying to predict the very next scene of a movie you've never watched. At first, you might just notice surface-level stuff. After a dark, quiet scene, a scary scene usually comes next. But to get really good at predicting, you have to understand the plot, right? You have to learn that one character's betrayal causes another character's anger, which in turn causes that big confrontation in the next scene. To predict well, you are forced to learn the story's internal logic. And that right there, that's the magic trick. That's exactly what this autoregressive objective, which is just a fancy way of saying predict the next thing, forces the AI to do. To perfectly predict the next event in any stream of data, it can't just rely on those flimsy, surface-level correlations. It has to learn the plot of the data, the real underlying causal structure. By training an AI to just be a great forecaster, we're secretly training it to be a great causal detective. It's a truly elegant and unexpected discovery. Okay, so this new ability is absolutely mind-blowing. But how do we actually use it? How do we get it into the hands of the scientists, the analysts, the people who aren't AI PhDs? Well, the solution is to build an AI agent that acts as a true research partner, a co-scientist. And that's where we hit a wall. You see, doing proper causal science is hard. It demands some pretty deep statistical know-how that most experts, whether they're in biology or economics or marketing, simply don't have. This expertise barrier has kept all these powerful methods locked away in the ivory towers of academia for way too long. So to tear down that wall, researchers built something amazing called CAIS, which stands for Causal AI Scientist. It basically automates the entire research process. You can just give it a question in plain English, and it handles everything else, from picking the right statistical model to running the code, all the way to explaining the results back to you like a human would. But here's the really clever part. The thing that makes CAIS a total game changer, its ability to self-correct. It uses a logical decision tree to pick the right tool for the job, so it's not just hallucinating or guessing. And most importantly, it has this critical validation feedback loop. If a statistical test fails, it doesn't just throw up its hands and give you a bad answer. No, it recognizes the error, it goes back, and it tries a different path until it finds a result that is statistically sound and that you can actually trust.
Okay, so this all sounds great in a lab, but what does it mean out in the real world? Well, let's take a look, because this is already creating revolutions across completely different fields.
In biology, this is nothing short of a revolution. I mean, when you're trying to understand complex diseases, scientists are facing this insane explosion of potential gene interactions. These new methods are 47 times better than just guessing at identifying the correct interactions. That lets researchers point their lab experiments directly at the most promising targets, which saves just an incredible amount of time and money.
And in business, it's about taking the blindfold off. New algorithms can look at customer data and figure out not just if a marketing campaign works, but the optimal amount of money to spend on each specific group of users to get the best possible return. We're talking about increasing the total value of campaigns by 12.5%, all while staying on budget. That's huge.
And when we talk about massive global challenges like climate science, this is giving us a new pair of glasses. New models can finally untangle the incredibly messy web of climate data. They can separate the effects of those huge hidden drivers like El Niño from the direct local causes of weather patterns. This gives scientists a much clearer, much more accurate picture of how our planet actually works.
All right, so it's obviously a huge deal for big science and massive companies. But what about you? How can a solopreneur, a creator, a small business owner actually get their hands on this kind of power? Yeah, see, this isn't just for people in white lab coats anymore. As tools like CAIS get easier to use and more accessible, they're becoming this incredible new form of leverage. For the first time, individuals are going to have access to what is essentially an automated why machine for their business. Suddenly, you can start asking and getting real answers to the questions that actually move the needle. Not just which marketing channel seems to be correlated with sales, but which channel causes the most conversions. You can finally understand the real drivers of why customers are leaving. You can test which new button on your website actually causes more people to sign up, and you can know the true causal return on investment for every single dollar you spend. This is the kind of insight that used to be only for the data science teams at Fortune 500 companies.
Look, we are at this incredible turning point. For the first time ever, AI is helping us read the underlying rules of all the systems around us, from our climate to our own bodies to our businesses. The code of the universe is being deciphered. The only question left is what will you build with it?